Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Periodical Analyzer webinar. My name is Sandy Liking, and I'm the Client Solutions Training Manager here at AAM, and I'm so glad you're able to join us today. As a member of the AAM, you have full access to all the tools and the reports in the Media Intelligence Center. This session is really great for those who are new to the MIC or returning user and want a refresher, especially for periodicals, our June periodical statements. We have a lot of them now, pretty much all in our database. So today's focus, we're going to be focusing on periodicals and how to access that data. Our main goal for today's session is to ensure that you can comfortably navigate through the MIC to find all those periodical reports that you need. You'll learn how to filter, search for publications, access that right report, and even create valuable Excel spreadsheets that you can download to your computer and do further analysis. Some quick housekeeping notes before we get started. We have a large group with us today, so everyone is on mute. But if you do have questions, please type them in the chat box. If time allows, we will answer your questions at the end of the session. But if not, don't worry, we will make sure we'll get back to you individually via email or through phone contact. So without further ado, let me introduce my colleague, Jenny Anderson, who will share her intimate knowledge of the MIC today. Jenny?
Thank you, Sandy. Hi, everyone, and thank you for attending our Media Intelligence Center Periodical Analyzer training session. I'd like to start today's session by suggesting that you use either Google Chrome or Firefox as your internet browser when using the Media Intelligence Center. So I'd like to start by logging in. So you do that by going to auditedmedia.com, which is our main web page for our site. At the top, you'll see a login area. You want to click on login, click on Media Intelligence Center, and you will be prompted to come to a member login screen. Now, if you are a new user to the Media Intelligence Center, please give us a call here at this number, 224-366-6339. We'll give you a temporary username and password, and each member can enter in their information and create their own account using their business email and a password of their choice. Then once you log on one time as a new user, you can come over here to the returning user side and log in. Remember to click Remember Me so that you don't have to remember all your information, and you can simply sign in. Now, this is the main page of the Media Intelligence Center. From here, you can see that there are over 2,500 publications within the MIC. So that's newspapers, magazine, business, farm, a couple religious titles, and some interactive titles. So publications on our main page are listed in alphabetical order, as you can see under publication name. So to start today, we're focusing on magazines. So I'm going to show you a few ways that you can access magazines, and it's relatively easy to do. So let's say you have maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe up to 10 titles that you're searching for. You can go ahead and use the search by bar here at the top. One thing to note, when you're typing in titles, you want to type in magazine A, comma, no space, magazine B, comma, no space, magazine C, etc. So we're just going to type in a few here. I'm going to type in Allure, comma, no space, and then I'm going to type in Chatelaine. Then I'm going to do comma, no space, and I'm going to type in Backpacker. And I'm going to click Enter. Now, as you can see, the titles that I entered in the search by bar are now here. It includes the Chatelaine French language edition. So that pulled up because I did type that main pub in. So now you can see your publications right here. You had a few more, again, just comma, no space, and type them in. So we can also now, let's say we have a bigger group of magazines that we want access to. We're going to use the filters on the left-hand side. So I'm going to use this reset button, which is the circular button with an arrow on the end of it, and click reset. Now, again, since I know we're going to be looking at magazines, I'm going to put a check to the left of magazine under publication, and now you'll see we have 427 titles. So that is US and Canadian magazines within our system. So again, I'm going to use my filters on the left-hand side, and I'm going to pick a group of magazines that I'd like to look at. So starting with country. If you don't choose a country, you have access to United States and Canadian titles. So since I don't have one or the other checked, I have both available to me to do my research. And I'm going to leave that like that because I want specifically both United States and Canada. But as you can see here, you can choose one or the other. You just choose Canada and you've got Canadian pubs. Same goes for the United States. So that's the country filter, which I'm going to leave everyone in there. Another popular filter is the circulation filter. I'm going to click this plus sign. Now from here, I can access magazines based on circulation size. So if someone asks you, how do you access magazines, let's say with 100,000 circulation and greater, we simply select our categories here. And now you can see we have over 289 publications that have 100,000 circ or greater. So we could actually use this as well to do further investigations into each title and research and pull this into the periodical analyzer. But I'll move on to show you just a couple more filters before we go into the periodical analyzer. Another popular filter is our parent company filter. You can come in here and choose a particular parent company. If you want a parent company, if you want the parent company for all of these titles. So I chose American Media, and now I've got the parent company of American Media and all of the publication names noted here. So just remember, if you're looking for a particular parent company, easy filter to use. And finally, to go over the SRDS classification filter. So if you're looking for magazines with a particular genre, this is where you want to go into the SRDS classification. Whether it be action, sports, automotive, health, lifestyle, men's or women's titles, you can access them here. You simply choose the classification you want and click apply and close. Now I have all of my magazines with a particular SRDS classification chosen here. So that's just a few of our filters. There's also a market search filter down here should you want to access magazines that have circulation within a particular state or DMA, etc. So I've got a few titles listed here. I'm just going to go ahead and click on one to show you briefly the reports library. So I clicked really quickly on a title and then it's loading, and then what'll happen is we'll get either brand view or we'll get reports library. So however it pulls up, here we get reports library. So for Ski Magazine, it comes up that we have our reports library. Many of you are familiar with this, so that's why I'm just mentioning it briefly. This is where you access your PDF reports. You access them by clicking on the report date in blue, and then you get your most recent publisher statement. So you can download this or print it out, etc. Right up here you have your options. If you want to add historical reports, you just click that button, and now you have data going back 10 years. So those are our PDF reports, but truly we are interested in going into the periodical analyzer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my random kind of list here that we picked out, and we're going to pull these magazines into the periodical analyzer, because this is where you're really going to get that key research data that you're looking for. So I'm going to select all here by putting a check mark to the left of publication name, and then I'm going to click on this Analyze Data button. Very, very important to note, if you don't select at least one title, you will not see that button. If you don't see that button, you can't get into the periodical analyzer. So here I'm going to select all, and I see my Analyze Data button. That's my doorway to the periodical analyzer. I'm going to go to the periodical analyzer. Now here is your key research data. And as you can see, there are a number of titles within the analyzer tool. There's over 20 here. Today, I'm going to go over some of the most popular. So first, to let you know that the majority of these reports here, they're going to pull from the most recent pub statement available. So when you access this, it's going to pull for the majority of our titles from the June 2017 publisher statement period. So here I'm going to choose first the average paid, verified, and analyzed non-paid circulation report. This is your top line report. So when you're looking at a publisher statement, this is going to be the information you're going to see on the top line or the top levels. Here you can access your paid subs, individual, print, and digital issue. Got your verified info, your single copy, and your analyzed non-paid. So you can go through and you can make your selections right here. And if you're just looking for a couple particular categories, this would be your way to go about it. But should you actually want to select all here, you can do that. You can go to select all, and now it is selected every single category that you can choose from, and then you click submit. It's going to load for just a few seconds, and now you've got your average paid, verified, and analyzed non-paid circulation report. I'm going to go ahead and export this, choose my preferred format, and click OK. Now, when you download this report, I'm going to pull this up here for you. You're going to see we now have in Excel all of those categories that we had in that window. So you get all of the information for all of those magazines that we pulled into the periodical analyzer. So that's a lot of information that we're getting. So I'm going to click this Enable Editing button here at the top. I always delete our logo because you know who we are. And then you see here we have a lot of our column headers, and they're a little bit scrunched together. That's because we did a select all. One quick trick that I do is I highlight the entire document, and you do that by clicking on this triangle here, and then just drag and click any column to the right about an inch. That makes it a lot easier to read these column headers. And then I double click on any line in a row, and that just brings everything up and it's easier to read. So now you can see I've got my column headers here, and I've got all of the information for those magazines we pulled into the tools. And you'll see here under statement date, almost all have that 6/30/2017 date. The only one that doesn't is Variety. So theirs is probably being currently being worked on and proofed right now. So the majority of the other ones, or all the other ones, have that June 2017 statement date. So now we've seen our data exported into Excel. Let me show you something that's really important if you want to do historical analysis. I'm going to show it using this same report here. Now remember, when we clicked on this originally, there's nowhere for you to choose publisher statement time periods. It's just pulling from the most recent. Now watch, when I click this Add Historical Reports button, and then I click our report, now you get your publisher statement periods here at the top. You can actually go all the way back to December 2007. This is an incredibly helpful tool for people who like to do publisher statement over publisher statement or year over year analysis. So let's say you want to do June 6 months over June 6 months 2016, 15, 14, and 13. You can do that right from here and access the same information, except it's going to pull from every single one of these statement periods. So now for this example, I'm going to select all and click submit. Now I've got my information pulling from all of our publisher statement periods. So now all you have to do is click export like we did before, choose your preferred format and click OK. So remember, if you're pulling from the most recent statement, no need to click that Add Historical Reports button. But if you want to do statement over statement time period tracking, go ahead and click that Add Historical Reports button. Another very popular report is our Paid, Verified, and Analyzed Non-Paid by Issue, Print and Digital. I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to select our most recent pub statement. And again, you can go through and pick and choose your categories here, or you can select all, which I'll do for this example, and click Submit. So while it's loading, just a few seconds, I want to point out, now you'll see we have publication name, Angie's List here, and look, under the issue date, it's a January, February, March, April, May, and June issue of Angie's List. So this is Paid, Verified, and Analyzed Non-Paid by Issue. So instead of getting those full averages like you did with the first report that we ran, now you're getting a breakdown by issue. So if you're curious about the issues within the certain statement period, use this report, and I think you'll find it very helpful. From here, you can export like we did with our other reports. Choose your preferred format and click OK. Another report that I think would be important to you is going to be the issues that missed rate base. When I click on this report, a lot of people like to access this report because it does feature all of the issues that missed rate base. Rate base is that circulation guarantee that a publisher will make to an advertiser. So a certain magazine will have a rate base of 100,000. This report is going to tell you of the issues within that particular pub statement period, which of those issues missed that rate base. So I'm going to select all, and I'm going to click Submit. So this is important. Let's say if you're an advertiser or a buyer and you're looking at your post buys, and you can see here these magazines had issues that missed the rate base. So as you scroll over, you can see the total versus the rate base and how much it missed by. Again, you can export this directly into Excel by using our table here, choosing this and clicking OK. So another popular report is the Supplemental Analysis of Average Paid, Verified, and Analyzed Non-Paid Circulation. I call this the nitty-gritty report. This is the nitty-gritty because it's going to give you all of our breakouts for our paid subs, our verified subs, our single copy sales, analyzed, non-paid, etc. So you are getting a complete and total breakdown. That's why it says that supplemental analysis of everything. Here, this is where you're going to get your individual subs, your associations, your club memberships, your deferred info, even here, your multi-title digital programs. You have your partnerships, your sponsored sales, and then your verified information, your single copy breakouts into partnership and sponsored, analyzed, non-paid, and then you can even access circulation categories before 12/15 when we had some changes. So here you can choose a section by putting a check mark to the left of that section header, and it chooses all of that info below. Or again, you can select all. That's going to provide you with everything in the report. And then you can click Submit. So should you be looking for the nitty-gritty, the complete breakouts for all of these publications, go ahead and choose this report. Now, probably the most frequently requested report that we get and the most questions we get are about the geographic analysis report. This is our circulation by state data, and this used to be on the pub statement, but as you know, as it was streamlined, it is now fully available in the periodical analyzer. And it's actually, it's a little more convenient in the analyzer because you can do historical polls for geographic data, or you can actually do filtering or pivot tables to get the exact layout that you need. So I'm just going to choose the most recent pub statement date. And for this instance, I'm going to select all and click submit. So now you'll see the loading signal. And for all of the publications that we pulled in here, you'll see their breakout by state. But what it also pulls in here is with the U.S. region that this state falls into for this publication. So now you've got all of your breakouts by state for all of those magazines that we pulled in. You can click export, choose your preferred format, and click OK. Lastly, I'll mention briefly is that the DMA report with county detail. Now, please note, only those magazines that participate in our county level data program will have information in the DMA report, but it is a report that we get asked about frequently. So note there are about 75 magazines that participate in that county level report. So here you can just choose that DMA report with county detail, and here we don't have any of our titles actually in that program. So when you see this, I'll point that out again. Data is not available for these publications. That doesn't mean that it's broken, because we do get a lot of questions, hey, this report's not working. So it actually only works with the 75 magazines that we have information for our county level data program. So just remember that when you're looking in this section. So those are the most popular or the most requested reports. So with those, I'm going to show you, now that we went over a few of those, I'm going to actually remove historical reports. And remember, all that does is now it's just pulling in the most recent pub statement. So I'll show you how to do some formatting within the report. So I'm going to choose the average paid, verified, and analyzed non-paid report. Now, it's your choice. Some people are very comfortable with Excel and want to wait to do formatting when the document is exported. But you can actually do it here if you want. Here you can do, oh, you know what? I actually want to add historical reports. And then I'm going to go back in here because I'm going to choose a few reporting periods. Then I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to click submit. So, you know, we chose a few different periods. So let's say we want to group by a particular pub statement period. I can click on statement date, and I can go right here to our lines with the down arrow here, and I'll hover over group and add a group. We're going to group using individual values. And now you'll see here, I've got my information grouped by statement date. So you'll see here that now puts groups in here by those statement dates that I chose at the beginning. So you can also sort a column, you know, descending or ascending if you want. Here we have our total paid, verified, and analyzed non-paid cert. So however you want to sort that, you can sort that category. It'll go greatest to least, least to greatest, etc. And then you can export your formatting here, again, right into Excel. Then you click OK. So we'll create a new report. So we will just choose June 2017, select all, and submit. Now I want to show you another trick here that we can do. You can actually save design within this report. So what we do is once we get to this screen, we choose our report, we choose our categories, and we click submit. Now I want to actually save this design. Let's say I've pulled in titles that I like, and I like the way that I put this report together. I want to save this. Up here with the lines with the arrow to the right, I click on Save Design. It's important. We're looking at periodicals, so you must double click on either the newspaper or the periodical folder. And then here we're going to do a file name. So this is the average paid, verified, and analyzed non-paid report. So that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to click enter. So So I'm going to close out of here, and I'm going to scroll down, and you're going to see right here in my user designed reports, here's my average paid, verified, and analyzed non-paid report. So this is really like a template. So this means you save that design. So I've saved that template for that average paid, verified, and analyzed non-paid. So I'm going to go ahead and reset up here at the top. And I'm going to choose just random magazines, because the next time you come into the MIC and you want to pull in maybe a different report or other magazine titles, you just come here. I'm choosing some randomly, but you may have another group that you'd like to choose. I select those. I click Analyze Data, go into the Periodical Analyzer, and I'm going to scroll down because I know I want my template here. I already saved my design. So I click on that, and it says Open My Existing Report Design, which would have been with the magazines that I saved it, or I want to overwrite existing report design with the new members I've selected. So here you can use Save Report Dates, or you can use Most Current Date. So I'm going to click on that. Then you click Loading, and here you go. You now have your report. But instead of the magazines that we created it with, it pulled in those new magazines. So remember that. That's a trick that a lot of people who use the tool quite a bit use, is that Save Design, because they know that they're using those particular reports and the formats and the categories chosen. Now that we've shown you how to access data in the Periodical Analyzer, I do want to show you another trick. I'm going to reset here. I'm going to show you how to save a list. So let's say you work with a particular list on a regular basis, and you just want it saved so that you can go in there and grab that list rather than trying to type out the publications that you want or using your filters on the left-hand side. So here we know we want magazines. So let's go down and let's just look at a parent company here. And as we scroll down, let's say I want Bonnier, and I click Apply and Close. Now, what I'm going to do is, as this example, I just used the parent company, but you could pick random magazines. You can make your own list. It can be anything that you want it to be. So here I want all of my titles in here. So I'm going to select all. And then you see this button here come up, and it says Save List. So in here, I'm just going to type Bonnier and click Save. So now I'm going to click Reset. Now when I come in here on any other day and I want to access that list, go to Manage Lists, Report Alerts, and click on that. And then here's my list, Bonnier. I just click on that and click Retrieve. Now you see I have all of my titles available to me, and I can pull them now into the Periodical Analyzer. So that is our Media Intelligence Center Periodical Analyzer training. To wrap up, I'd like to turn things back over to Sandy.
Thank you so much, Jenny. That was really informative. We do have a couple questions here, but we're running out of time. So what we're going to do, we're going to address those questions offline. But before we wrap up, I do want to make sure that you know how to contact us if you need assistance with the MIC. On top of each page within the filing tool, you're going to see our toll-free number, and it's 877-222-0932, as well as our email address at the miccenter@auditedmedia.com. In the coming weeks, we'll also be offering other analyzer and basic webinar sessions. So go to on our training page. We will have on there our next available training webinar that will be coming up. Also, too, there's also really good reference material. If you go into accessing AAM data, there is a lot of great information about the MIC. It gives great information about how to set up the email alerts, how to access the geographic data and stuff like that. So feel free to use, go ahead and use those. And when you click on them, they'll give you step-by-step instructions. So with that, we're going to end this webinar, but thank you so much for joining us today.